we are going to go through a, I would say this is more of a strategy session. This is really going to get into some of the things that I've been thinking about and some of the things that I would recommend you start thinking about for 2025. It is a new year. It's a great time to be planning, to be thinking about what are your goals? How are we going to meet those goals? And what are some of the steps and things that we can take to get you closer to them? And we're going to start by diving into some actionable strategies to transform your lead generation efforts in 2025. So we're going to talk about some of the latest trends, powerful tools, proven methods for achieving big results. Now, to kick it off, I have got a little poll that I've added to this particular session. I'm going to launch it. And the question is, what is your number one challenge with lead generation today? And you can just plug in your answer there. It's a short answer, but let me know what your number one challenge is when it comes to lead generation today. And we will be able to take a look at some of those results shortly. So I'm going to keep that open for a couple of minutes, and then we'll take a look at the results. Now, if those of you who are new to the Agent Secrets series, I will introduce myself. My name is Christy. I've been a digital marketing expert with Success Website and have spent many, many years training and managing individual training agents and managing individual accounts. And I love to teach people how to use technology and improve their business process and communication. I really enjoy that intersection between real estate marketing and technology. Now, if you are interested in booking a marketing consultation with me, I do work with many clients, and certainly would be open to having a conversation with you if you'd like that. You can send me an email. My email is right here. It's christy@successwebsite.com. You can also visit our site, successwebsite.com, and there are a few ways to book consultations that way. And then another option would be to go to successwebsite.com/management. So if you're interested in having either myself or someone on my team manage your account, you can find out more at successwebsite.com/management. So let's get started. Now, the landscape of lead generation in 2025. Some of the trends that we're going to be following really closely are first, personalization. Now, consumers have really raised the bar in terms of their expectations. The consumers that you are trying to attract are going to be expecting a little bit more from you, I think. And that's a good thing, right? I think that it's going to require you to maybe be a little more proactive in your communication and put a little bit more thought into how you decide to do that. But consumers will expect highly tailored experiences. So personalized video messages to connect with potential clients is going to be something that you will definitely want to try and integrate into your marketing strategy. So if you're not yet familiar with how to do that, we're going to show you examples of how to use video in your communication, in your follow-up, so that you too can start doing that as well. Another trend is going to be AI, of course, and automation. We saw a lot of development with AI and automation over the last couple of years, and that's just continuing to move forward. AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Jasper AI, all of these tools are going to be integrated into pretty much every type of communication channel that you're using. So becoming familiar with that, becoming, I would say, comfortable with using those tools is something you are really going to want to spend some time doing, because they can be used for all sorts of things, right? You can use them for creating content, but you can also use them for delivering insights into lead behaviors and things like that. And then trend number 3 is instant gratification. Leads are going to want answers fast. So AI chatbots, SMS marketing, those real-time responses are going to be super important. So using text messaging, I think, is also going to be a way to fulfill your leads requests and provide them with that instant gratification. And some of the examples that we are looking at today are going to get into these types of topics. So I'm going to actually switch over. First, I'm going to look at my poll here. We're going to end this and see what kind of answers we got. So some of the big challenges that we are seeing. I wonder if I can access this. Yeah, this is the first time that I've launched a poll, and I don't actually know where to get the answers. Interesting. I think I have to sign into Zoom to see those. So maybe I'll give, I'm going to give Rob or Sobia that task. Maybe you guys can look into that and see if we can get the answers to the poll there. But while you're doing that, I'm going to open up my browser, and then we're going to take a look at some of the success stories that we highlighted over the holidays. And these success stories, we handpicked them. I personally, took a lot of time going through some of the things that I've been speaking with clients about, some of the innovative techniques that I thought we definitely need to share with the rest of our group. And why not go through this? Because honestly, if you can adopt 1 or 2 of these, better yet, all of them, then I think you're going to be well on your way to making 2025 one of the strongest years for you yet. So let's switch over here to my browser, and we'll share that. Okay. Now, on the topic of responsiveness and instant gratification, Kyle Micklejohn, he is an agent out in Red Deer, Alberta. This particular story struck me as one of those situations where you just were in the right place at the right time, or you had the right type of communication at the right time. Now, his story has to do with Google Ads and converting a Google ad with the power of timely follow-up. We're generating leads for Kyle using Google right now. So the ad is offering a hot list of homes. We're attracting a certain type of buyer through Google to opt in and request information. In fact, I'll show you the specific hot list that we're using. So Sylvan Lake and Red Deer single family homes from 400,000. So that's the campaign that we're running in Google, and it generates a lot of leads. Now, when those leads come in, they're getting the list automatically, right? So they get access to that list. There's 40 properties in there, and they can sift and sort and go through the properties that way. Now, what Kyle does is in his CRM, he is closely monitoring the leads that are coming back to the site. So it's really, really important when you have leads in your database that you're encouraging them to come back. And there's a few ways to do that. You can obviously be sending out content. You can send out a report and ask people to come back to view the report. You could send them a text message and ask them to respond back, to get more information. But one of the most effective ways is to put people on a daily property updates email, right? So that every day they're getting a list of homes that fit their criteria. And it's really, really important also to tailor that list to what it is that they want. Otherwise, they're probably not going to bother coming back. Now, what Kyle did in this case is not super fancy in any way. What he was doing was just keeping very close tabs on the returning leads that were coming in and making sure that he was reaching out to them. So here's an example. This isn't the actual lead or leads that he was able to convert, but this is typically what would happen. The lead gets the email with the property updates, right? And then they come back and view a property. And then what Kyle does is he reaches out to them right away and he says, I just noticed you were looking at this property. Would you like to set up a showing? And that sort of gets the ball rolling. There's also the chance that someone is going to go into your website and click on this link right here. Actually, let's go. Yes. So when somebody is on your site and they're looking at properties and they're interested in viewing the property, or they're interested in getting more information on that property, they can fill out a form on your site and request that and submit that request. You have to keep a very close eye on those requests because that's a really important signal. And that's exactly what happened. Somebody was on his site looking at property, they requested more information, and he was able to identify that and get back to them right away. That started the conversation, and then it gradually led to him meeting with them, finding them a home, and so on, right? So I think that the key point here is you need to be monitoring your CRM for signals. There are going to be signals that come through, whether it be people looking at property, people asking for more information on property, people replying to text messages. That's the kind of activity that we want happening in the CRM. And that is essentially what's going to tell you, is this person motivated? Are they likely to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months, those types of things. So if you take a look at his success story, you'll see exactly how this progressed and why it is so important to have that consistent lead flow and engagement in the CRM. Okay, let me just see here. I saw that a message came through. Oh, perfect. Okay, so Rob did post some of the answers to our poll. So I'm just going to read through some of those. Number one challenge with lead generation today. Here were some of the answers. Effective follow-up. Yes, of course, that's always a challenge. Making sure the leads are real. Sure, yeah, that can be a problem. Sometimes there are bots and things that can come through your website where the leads aren't real per se, but anything that comes from a Google ad or probably a Facebook ad, I would say that they're real. It's just they may not give you accurate information. That's possible. But yes, having real leads, real people is certainly important. Another challenge, quality leads. So these are people who are thinking of buying or selling in the next 3 to 6 months, or perhaps maybe they're a little bit farther out, and you need to make sure that you nurture those. But having quality leads is really important. Calling them back, so that gets into the follow-up. That's a big challenge, getting back to those leads. Another one is having a lead gen tool, but lack of implementation and not using it. I think we can all relate to that. You buy into a program, you purchase something, and maybe due to a learning curve or a lack of time or whatever it is, but you just don't get to that implementation phase and you don't use it. So that is something that I see and I hear quite often. I think that when you are thinking of using a platform or maybe a new program or something like that, you always have to be working on implementation. So that means every day you're in that platform, you're using it, especially when it comes to a CRM. If you're not in it on a daily basis, and if you're not using it actively, it's not going to do much for you. And that's why I often say that when you are using the Success platform, for instance, you really should be logging in twice a day, and you should be regularly going through your leads, looking at your notifications, looking at your listing activity, things like that, and also thinking about generating leads and how can we improve our lead flow. So we talk a lot about that. I think a big part of implementation is just showing up for things like this. Like this call is all about how can we get better with our digital marketing? How can we generate better leads? How can we do better with our follow-up? And that all goes towards implementation as well. Now, there's another message here. A good expensive text out message source. So I think this one has to do with sending out text messages and being able to deliver those, perhaps. I'm not sure, that one's a little bit confusing to me. And then the other one, the last one, is poor quality leads, difficulty reaching leads. Yes, that is definitely a challenge that anyone who's in this game of generating leads will face. So I think sometimes we talk a lot about the quantity of leads that you need to convert the number that you need to get a good return on your investment or your return on ad spend. This year, 2025, I think we're going to be shifting a little bit more towards the quality side of things. And that gets down to spending more time figuring out who is my ideal target market and how can I really attract those people. And that's something that I want to highlight with this success story here. This is Paul De Silva. Paul may be on the call today, actually. But Paul's story is, I think it really is a great example of how you can attract a very specific market using content like a live seminar. So Paul has started to host these live seminars for first-time buyers. He tailors them specifically for first-time buyers. And he has a landing page here that we are driving traffic to through various ads, Facebook ads, maybe Google ads as well. But if you want to attract a specific type of buyer, it really is helpful to put together a buyer persona, right? So that's where you sit down and you think about, okay, how old are they? Are they married? Are they single? Maybe you want to even think about where they're from. What is it that they're looking for? What are their pain points? And for a first-time home buyer, there are very specific things that you can do to attract that group. I love the headline here where it says, go from renting to owning your home in 90 days, or we will pay you $1,000. So right off the top, you are making a pledge, right, to them that you're going to help them become homeowners in the next 90 days. And then the subhead, struggling to save for a down payment, discover how first-time buyers are solving this problem in record time without earning more or waiting for years. Join our free live seminar and learn the proven strategies that are helping people like you buy their dream home sooner than ever thought possible. We do have a video here, okay, that goes into how the seminar works and what is offered. And then they can go ahead and reserve their seat. So these types of events are extremely effective in generating those quality introductions, those quality leads. And I would say that if you are interested in targeting a very specific type of buyer or seller, think about that. Think about maybe having a live event or a live seminar that is going to address some of their concerns, some of their fears. Really spend some time putting together the content. You can use AI tools for that, and have ChatGPT lay out a whole outline for you, right, for the event. And the people that show up for those events, you're going to not only meet them and have the opportunity to speak with them and learn more about how you can help them, but you're also you're basically making yourself into a local expert, right? Like, you're already a local expert, but now you're promoting yourself as that. And I think, like, attracting people to you because of that. So that is definitely something that I think that would certainly benefit everybody in terms of generating some quality leads, some better quality leads. Now, another success story that we had here was from Latrell Kirk, from Kirk and Company. And this really gets into the personalization and automation aspect of things. Now, as far as your follow-up plans are concerned, I would recommend that for any lead that comes in to your CRM, you want to make sure they're getting information from you automatically. So that would be an email, of course, a text message, maybe a ringless voicemail. So let's take a look at the action plan that has been set up here. And this is something that we could certainly help you with, right? If you are a Success Website client. Otherwise, you can set these things up in your own CRM, but there are some tricks that we need to put into place to make sure that this is set up properly. Let me just see if I can find it. I wonder if it's this one. Yeah, the one that I'm looking for has some video content in it. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, so this is for new construction homes with discounted mortgage rates. And what this does is it basically gives you I think it's a 21-day plan that also integrates video into the plan. Now, this is I believe this is a bomb video that we have inserted into the email for him. But that personalized aspect of the plan is really what helps, I would say, helps them connect with the leads, and it really satisfies that urge that most leads have, where they want to get the content, they want to get the information, but they also want to know a little bit more about you, and get sort of an introduction before they even talk to you. That's what this does. And it does require you to record some of these videos, right? As you can see, he's gone and he's recorded them, and they're educational. And then we've inserted them into the emails, right? So whether the lead is getting it on the 13th day or the 6th day, that content is going out automatically. And you can tailor it for specific campaigns. So this one is for new construction homes, but you could do it for off-market properties. You could do it for maybe a seller campaign that is offering cash for the home. Maybe you want to do it specifically for first-time home buyers. Having that personalization in your follow-up is going to, I would say, address some of the challenges that you've written here, right? Effective follow-up. And it also addresses the implementation, because implementing this type of plan can be very challenging. But once you get started and once you have a template to do it, you can get some help, right? So if you have somebody on your team who is able to help you with this, that's great. If you don't, then you may want to have maybe someone on our team, like Success Website, help you with that, or you may want to hire somebody. Either way, it's worth spending that time and spending, whatever the cost is, and getting it implemented, because once it's done, you have that template in place, and it's just a question of assigning it to leads or attaching it to a campaign of some sort. Because ideally, what we want is we want the leads to be calling you back, right? I think that is really the holy grail that we're going for here, is how can we increase the number of incoming leads that are calling you, as opposed to you having to chase people down, right? So having these types of follow-up plans in place are going to help you with that. Okay, just looking at the chat here, I can see that some of you are asking if the webinar is going to be recorded. Yes, of course, we're recording the webinars. We always record our weekly webinars. And I will also share with you our YouTube channel where you can access those recordings, but we'll provide you all with that. And then there was a question here from Fernando about texting. So texting versus emailing clients, what works best? Can we measure that? I think that both can be extremely helpful. However, if you want people to respond, texting is the way to go. So emailing is a great way to consistently communicate with your leads, right? And it's also a great way to share a lot of information. So for instance, let's say you're providing people with a link to the list of homes that they've requested, right? You're probably going to send that in an email. That's your instant follow-up. But if you want people to respond, or if you want to engage in a conversation with somebody, I would be texting 100%. We even find with our own support communication, quite often it's primarily through text as opposed to email. And I like text because it allows me to instantly respond as well. Whereas an email, sometimes I will push that off. I will kind of batch that task for myself and answer all my emails either midday or at the end of the day. Whereas text, I'm pretty much responding, as quickly as I can. So I would say if you're going to lean into a specific strategy for communicating with clients, to get a response, really try to lean into the text messaging. And I do also recommend for texting, come up with some templates, right? Come up with some common questions, things that you feel are going to help start the conversation, like conversation starters, things like that. That's always a good idea, is to have some pre-written text message templates as well. Now, as far as also effective communication tools, ringless voicemail, I would certainly be trying to use that as much as I could as well in my automated follow-up, because what it often does is it encourages people to call you back. If somebody sees a message or a voicemail on their phone, sometimes they don't even listen to that voicemail. They'll just call you right back. So that can be a great way to get on the phone with people. And you just have to be prepared for that instance where someone's calling you and they're asking, why did you call me? Why did you leave me a message? And that type of thing. But I would say ringless voicemail and text messaging, really, definitely you want to integrate those two into your follow-up for sure. Okay, yeah, keep the questions coming. Let's go back, and I'm going to take a look at our next success story here is Dan J. So Dan, he adopted a strategy for his open house. So for open house registrations, this is something that I always tell my clients to do. If you have an open house, you should have a QR code for people to scan where they can register online. So what they do is they would scan a QR code and it would go to a page like this, right? It's like an online registration page. And then when they fill it out, they will go through and see the property. So just to give you an example, I'm just going to type in some gibberish here. And then hit free instant access. Oh, it didn't take it. Hold on one sec. So when they fill out that registration form, they will get to see the property. But more importantly, what it does is it registers them in your CRM, and then it allows the CRM to send a follow-up plan. Now, some of the feedback that I've gotten from people, and you may come across this as well when you're doing this at your open house, but you may get a little bit of resistance from people, right? They don't necessarily want to fill something out online. Maybe they don't want to give their contact information. Or maybe they don't have their phone. Whatever it is, you just have to be ready to handle some of those objections. I think moving forward, people are going to be a lot more comfortable doing this because it's going to become ubiquitous, where agents are just, it's mandatory that people sign in. You're letting people into somebody's home, right? So whether it's a sign-in form that they have to fill out or something that they have to fill out online, there should be a record that that person was in the home, right? So a lot of it will be the way that you frame it when people are coming into the open house and having them scan that code. And I would be very interested if any of you have been doing this or have done this and how you've handled some of those objections, because I know that sometimes that can be a factor. But But once you get used to this process, and for every open house, you've got people doing that online registration, that can generate some really high quality leads. These are people who are in the community, you've met with them, they've seen the home. So when they are registered, they get tagged in the CRM, and you can go ahead and start sending them follow-up, right? You can ask, are you working with a realtor? Are you thinking of moving in the next 3 to 6 months? So these are the steps for doing that, right? For every open house, what we would do is create a landing page for the open house, and then have it connected to the listing. And then we would create a QR code that goes directly to that landing page. And then once that's done, we can have our automated follow-up campaigns set up to send a personalized thank you email, maybe a survey link to gather feedback, and then a series of scheduled follow-ups to offer additional listings, market updates, things like that. So if you are planning on doing open houses, and I don't see those going anywhere anytime soon, let's really try to do more with those types of events, because they are a great way to build your database with local potential buyers and sellers. Just like you're sending out, postcards to your farm area when you have a listing. This is just another way to market and leverage your listings. And just as a side note, another technique that I would recommend you do is, when you are advertising or when you are marketing that listing through signage, have a call to action on the sign, right? You could have a QR code on the sign, or you could have what we call a text sign writer, where people can text a certain code to get access to that listing. So use your listings as marketing vehicles. That's really, really important, because that's a great way to get more leads and more listings from your listings. You can do it as far as the advertising is concerned. You can run those ads on Facebook to generate leads, even if the listing is pending, right? You can still use it as a marketing tool within Facebook. So if you've got listings and you're planning on running some open houses, take a look at this one. This is the Dan J success story. He did it multiple times last year and generated some really good quality leads from it. Okay, so I think we're on the last one here, and this is George Moorhead. So this really gets into referrals and building up your referral business. Something that you just can't, something that I can't emphasize enough, and something that you can't focus on enough, is building those long-term relationships for repeat business. Now, if you had a chance to watch our last Agent Secrets webinar that we did just before the holidays, I had George on for an interview, and he explained exactly what he does to get, I think he said he gets like 2 to 3 referrals a week from his marketing, and how he communicates with his past clients. So let's talk about that a little bit, and I'll just give you a sort of a brief summary here. So what he does is, he is very good at, for one, identifying his community clients. So he's really, really good at creating a segment within his database that are his sort of top tier people. Now, these are past clients or existing clients, people that he has worked with, not just incoming leads. He's got a separate bucket for those. So he has probably about 150 or so of his community people that he is interacting with on a regular basis. So that is with newsletters that he's mailing out. He sends handwritten notes to them. Sometimes he'll just pick up the phone and give them a call to see how they're doing. He really prioritizes communicating with that core group. And it's really paid off for him because he's really been able to establish a friendship with these people, you know, a trusted relationship where they have no qualms about referring him, you know, to their friends, to their family. That word of mouth marketing, you know, is extremely effective. So the community engagement and that permission-based marketing is what we highlighted in this particular story. But I'd also mention that he has done a really great job of connecting his past clients and his community with other businesses in his community as well. He has a website that that's kind of serves this purpose of highlighting some of the businesses and trusted vendors that he recommends. So bentleycontractors.com is where you can see the list, and he does require these business owners to meet a few, I'd say a few key requirements. So the number one thing is they need to be responsive. So if you are thinking of bringing in a vendor or a business that you want to send referrals to, you probably want to make sure that they will respond to people and are very quick to do that. So that's his number one. They have to be quick to respond. Number two is if there is a problem with the service, if he gets a complaint or if there's an issue, that contractor or that business will be on top of it and they will step in to solve the problem. And then the third is they're going to give his people the best pricing, right? So he doesn't have to worry about his past clients or the people he's referring being gouged or being overcharged or things like that. He wants to know that they're going to get the best possible pricing that they can. And he's done a really great job of building up this network of businesses. And part of this strategy is when he is sending out a newsletter or he's communicating with his community, he will highlight one of these businesses. So if it's, let's say, the fall and there's lots of leaves falling and people need their yards cleared and things like that, he'll highlight maybe an eaves trough cleaner or somebody who can do that work. Or maybe he's going to highlight a electrician or a plumber. And then people will reach out to him if they need that service and he will connect them, right? So he's been very proactive in connecting his past clients with these preferred vendors. And you can have a page like this pretty easily. Like if you're with Success, if you have a Success website, we do have an affiliates section that you can utilize. The pages, I believe, are for mortgage brokers and lenders, the title companies, landscape companies, roofing, moving, but you can have as many of these individual pages as you like for your preferred vendors, or you could have a page that is more like a directory where you've got similar to this, you've got everyone's information in one spot. But the goal isn't to drive traffic directly to those affiliates. The goal is to get people to contact you to get that information, right? So you sort of want to be the one that is actively referring the person the prospect or the client to that business. That way you can manage it. You can make sure that it's smooth. You can make sure that everyone gets the service that they're expecting to get. And I'm not saying that you should, be right in the middle of it necessarily, but you want to make that introduction, right? And make sure that the two parties do get into contact with each other. And that sort of gets into, I guess, one of the core topics that we will be focusing on over the next couple of weeks when it comes to getting repeat business and building those long-term relationships. That really comes down to is how referable are you? How referable is your business? Are you putting yourself out there online in a way that people can easily get a hold of you? Are your reviews easy to find, easy to see? Do you have reviews? Are you giving people regular updates on the market? So if you're not right now, if you feel like that you're not the most referable right now because you don't have some of these things, I would definitely start working on just a few things, right? More Google reviews. There's definitely value in having more positive Google reviews, and it's not about blasting out an email to your entire database asking for a review. You have to be strategic. You have to ask somebody when they're more likely to give you a positive review. So try to come up with maybe some email templates. We can help you with that. We have email templates specifically for Google reviews that you can use, and then select people within your database that would be most likely to give you a positive review. So that's number one. Number two would be a monthly newsletter. Like, are you sending something out every month to your database? Are you engaging with them on a regular basis? If not, really easy to implement something like that. The Success website has a newsletter that's built in, right? So I'm just going to take a look here. Let's see, let's take a look at this one. So we have our Market Watch newsletter that is built in to the website. So that's there. You can share it with your database on a monthly basis. But you can take it one step further and actually have a personalized newsletter that maybe you're mailing out to people, or maybe you've got a blog that you're posting on regularly and you're sharing information that way. Blogging and creating content that is specific to your location, to the topic that you are working within. So anything that is related to your local market, real estate trends, things that are maybe things that are interesting and exciting that are happening in your neighborhoods. Those are all things that you can be creating content around and sharing with your audience. So those types of activities, getting more reviews, having a monthly newsletter that you're sending out to people, that can go a long way towards your nurture strategy and starting to be more referable, for sure. It also really helps with building trust and positioning yourself as a local expert. And you can use social media, of course, to highlight these things and to drive traffic to these pages. There's another thing I'd recommend, and that is for your past clients, make sure that you record their birthdays and their anniversaries. We have plans that we rolled out last year where if you set an anniversary date or a birthday date within the CRM, they will automatically get those messages as well. And that just gives people a nice feeling, right? To get happy birthday or happy anniversary on those days. And being very, very consistent with that. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to quickly check the questions again. I see another one from Fernando. Sometimes I do not use the MLS. How do I create a landing page for that listing? Right, yeah, so you can have landing pages within the CRM for your listings. If it's not on the MLS, you can go up into the listings and just add your listing that way. And that will create a page for your listing. So Fernando, if you need help with that, please reach out to us. We just need some basic information about the listing, and then we can help you create a landing page for it. Okay, so again, I would encourage you all to take a look at these success stories if you haven't already. I just sort of kind of briefly went through them. There's a lot of good content in here. So if you go to successwebsite.com/blog, you're going to see the most recent posts are all here. And if you have your own success story or something that you want to share, we are all ears. We would love to hear it for sure. There's another question I'll answer real quick before we wrap up. Can we send BombBomb video via text on the Success website system? So the BombBomb is a platform that is specifically for sharing video, and sending it through text is kind of the same as sending it through an email, where you're presenting people with a like a small GIF file or a thumbnail of some sort, and they click on it, and then they open up another page, right, within a browser to see that video. So I think it is possible to do that. We just would need to connect your BombBomb account to the platform. And then maybe we can work with you on setting up some templates to send out those videos through text. Another question from Irving: what is a quick way to send a personalized ringless voicemail? Well, you could certainly just give them a call and leave a voicemail. The whole purpose of the ringless voicemail is to automate the delivery of that, and that means it's going to not be personalized with their name. It'll be more you introducing yourself, and that can be the message. But yeah, if you want it to be personalized, I would say just give them a call, leave a voicemail message. Maybe you'll talk to them. Who knows? That's always a great situation when you get on the phone with somebody and have a good conversation, right? All right. So I think that is where we will close it today. Thank you all so much for your time. Again, if you go to successwebsite.com/blog, that is where you can see these success stories. And then we are going to have some great content coming up in the next couple months. We're going to be doing some interviews, again, leaning more into the idea of building long-term relationships and getting much higher quality leads by creating specific content and doing a much better job with our targeting. So get ready to learn more about those themes. We're going to really explore a lot of those topics. And yes, I will try to get my head back on straight, just because the last few weeks have been crazy for me. And I thank you for sticking through this last hour. I know I've probably seemed a little bit scattered, and also just having a hard time getting back into things. But I think everything's going to be okay moving forward, and I certainly look forward to working with the team and creating some great content for all of you to enjoy this year. So thanks so much, everybody. Thanks, Rob and Sobia, for managing the chat, and we will talk to you in a couple weeks.